What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well today. Today, we're actually going back to some Trackdayr. Now, it's been a while since I've hopped on this game, and I have the development version of this, and there's updates literally every single day. But as of recently, there was a large, full-blown update for everybody. So I want to just check to see kind of what's what, see what's been updated so far. There is the full new HUDs and the main menu screen now for everybody, which is really, really cool. And in terms of customization now, everything just looks a bit different. You can change your bikes, change your skins, etc. The wardrobe is probably the biggest change at the moment, to be honest. So we look interesting right now. You can all change this. I've changed this beforehand for comedic effect. You don't spawn in just in your underwear, don't worry. But we are actually going to ride it like that today. But there's one track in particular that I have seen has been added into this game that I really want to play, and that is what's called in game Hell of Sand, but is actually, for licensing reasons, it's Lommel. Okay, I am a big fan of sand tracks in motocross games recently. For some reason, I'm mostly talking from MX bike experience. For some reason, I do really well on them, so I'm hoping I get a similar sort of feeling and a similar sort of flow here. So without further ado, let's go to the track and let's see how it plays.
For all of you passionate gamers, you can now get 20% off all G Fuel products worldwide by using code LINS at checkout. And for any of you motorheads looking for some new drip or apparel, use code MXPR_LINS15 fxrracing.eu to get 15% off. All links and codes are in the description down below. Enjoy the video and drop a cheeky little like and subscribe.
Right, so without actually doing anything yet, I just thought I'd try leaning forwards and backwards. And I don't know if it's intentional or not, but when you lean forwards and backwards, the bike now moves, which was definitely never ever a thing before. What I want to do today is, so we want to go into, let's go into first person, just like that. And which way does this finish go? How does the start work on Lommel? Oh, never mind. Okay. We go around to the right. I remember now. It's, I believe it's exactly the same layout as what we have in MX bikes at the moment. So we're going to see how it goes, see how it rides, and we are riding the new, not Honda, it's called HMX in-game for legal reasons. We're riding the new Honda 450, not 250 today. Now, it's been actually quite a while since I've given Trackdayr any sort of attention at all, and I think the biggest reason for me is as of recent, most recent updates to the game, for me at least, it feels like it's gone in a much more arcadey direction than original. My favourite ever build, I think, in Trackdayr is if we turn back the hands of time. There's a video that I recorded with Rum, and we done it on the Deegan compound, and something about the gameplay back then, it felt like it flowed a lot nicer. This is all personal opinion, by the way. This is for me. Some of you might hop on Trackdayr and absolutely love it at the moment. But for me right now at this moment in time, it's definitely a bit more arcadey than I'm used to enjoying. Right now, I'm barely moving at all. I know we're on a sand track, but I want to get a little bit of momentum going behind me. One thing that this game does seem to be bringing in at the moment is the bike life community. So wheelies on this game are incredibly easy to do. You can just literally lean back and that's it. And it doesn't seem like you ever flip off the back of the bike. It seems like it kind of locks you in place the whole time, which kind of adds to that arcadey effect that I'm talking about. It feels like there's these external variables all the time keeping you from crashing, which, is absolutely fine. It's not my cup of tea, at least not yet. But I feel like Trackdayr at the moment, it's been through so many different identities in such a short amount of time. It wouldn't surprise me if it completely changes again in the next couple of months and goes more down the realism route. I can't brake. There we go. I say actually, I need to get on the brakes quite hard for it to do anything. I barely getting over these jumps here. Please turn. Please. What if I hop into third person real quick and I just want to evaluate what the bike's doing underneath me, because it feels like I'm doing something quite wrong. I'm not even going to bother sitting down. Sand track, you want to stand up as much as possible. Use your legs to soak everything up. We do have a different rider model completely now. Apparently this is a full different rider model. So I think previously the rider model was like way too big. You know, it's like legs would be glitching through the bike and all sorts. But I think it definitely looks a lot more natural than it did now. So that is a big W. That's a good step in the right direction. And I have no idea who the track creator is for this game, but I feel like they always do a really good job in terms of the replicas. And you can see from the track, it's not just smooth. You know, there's constant rough everywhere. Mostly more like ruts in a straight line, which I am a fan of, which the bike doesn't seem to react independently to each and every one, so you can definitely add some more realism in terms of how the track looks without sacrificing gameplay so much. So that is a W. I am a fan of that. The whole like new HUD system I think looks really nice. It's a lot more polished than it ever was before. I wish that like games like Bikes and games like Sim came with, I guess, editable and better looking HUDs. It's something that I've actually requested on Bikes maybe a couple of weeks ago now, because we have to download Max HUD at the moment, which is fine. You know, Max HUD does a great job. Like, it gives you all the information that you need. But for whatever reason, at the moment, it seems to be the main cause of a lot of game crashes. So it's either have all the information at your fingertips and risk a game crash, or have no information, so I guess the viewer experience ends up being a bit of an L because you don't know what position I'm going to be in, and not have a game crash. So it's a bit of a toss-up, you know, a bit of a 50-50 sometimes on what you want to run with. But even stuff like this, I think looks really good. And you don't even necessarily have to have like the map at the bottom left. It's just things like your lap time at the top left, bottom right, you know, getting your speed and such. Obviously I'm not playing multiplayer right now, but what would be really nice to see from like a MX Bikes perspective is just being able to see like the distance in front of you and the distance behind you, just so you can kind of gauge what it is that you need to do, just so you've got that information at your fingertips. I know we have the pit board that you can see once a lap, but a lot of the time in race scenarios you like to see stuff a little bit more often. And I could see the argument of, well, that's not realistic at all. You know, IRL, you get your pit board once a lap and that's it. But then at the same time, I just don't feel like it's the most realistic game in the world, you know? Like, there's definitely things about it that are very unrealistic, and maybe even having it as a toggleable setting would be cool. I mean, we've got lean help in the game, for crying out loud. If you want it to be, that's not realistic. You don't rock around with stabilizers on your bike, IRL. So it'd be nice to just get some toggleable HUD changes, I think. But we shouldn't keep talking. I shouldn't keep talking about other games whilst recording something different. One thing that is completely irrelevant to you guys, which I've noticed whilst playing the game this time, is for whatever reason, in the past, whenever I play and record Trackdayr, my Streamlabs has an awful time. So there's like a little timer that counts down on Streamlabs, just showing you like the length of the recording, etc. And like you can see your audio levels as I'm talking going up and down. For whatever reason, whenever I record Trackdayr in the past, it would freeze every like 2 seconds for about 10 seconds, so you couldn't actually see what was going on. Now, the recordings are always fine. It's still always kind of like working in the background, but for whatever reason, the recordings are just saying that, nah, can't be dealing with this. But today, I'm not sure what change has been made to the game, or if it's literally just how the game plays. Maybe it's not quite as demanding anymore, if they've optimized things better, or if there's even something behind the scenes that was causing it. My Streamlabs thing is absolutely fine today, so that is an absolute W. I can see it all nice and smoothly, all the times working fine, so whatever they've changed there, big W, because that was actually a really like annoying part of recording this game for me, a little bit of a pain point. Actually got over the finish line jump now, which is nice. And this is I just want to get on the power a little bit, so I'm running about 2-ish minute lap times, and honestly, whilst I feel slow, I don't feel like I'm going particularly slow from like a sand track perspective, you know? Like, I feel like sand does bog you down a lot if you're not like a top tier elite rider where you can just skim across the top of everything and double your way around the track. It's going to be a bit of a slower experience. Like, someone like me going around sand tracks is quite comedic to watch and laugh at. I have also noticed, if you look at my exhaust, every single time I get off the throttle, hang on, let's go into like a braking zone. Every time I go get off the throttle, you see the exhaust backfires, like spitting flames and all sorts. I mean, it's a little bit excessive. Definitely, if your bike is spitting this many flames IRL, you might want to get it looked at. But like the backfire sounds kind of cool, and I think, but overall, like the actual handling of the bike, it does feel fine. Now, I can't test any new whips on this track, of course. There's no jumps that are really big enough for me to do so, which kind of makes me want to load up a track with some more lumpy jumps and see how the whips have evolved recently, because the bike definitely feels stiff-ish in turns. Like, it doesn't want to turn too tight, but it definitely feels better than it used to. But it does obviously still feel a little bit on the arcadey side. So I'm gonna load up my old favourite real quick. We're gonna load up the Deegan compound, and I just want to hit 1 or 2 of the big jumps and just see how the bike handles in the air these days as well. Best track in the game by far for me. I'm not sure what it is about this track, but it always seems to do really, really well. So I want to experiment a little bit here. We're going to stand up and do opposite direction whips. That felt quite nice and smooth. Same direction whips. Okay, kind of the same. And then we're going to try sitting down on the face of the jumps as well. Sit down, opposite direction. Oh, I imagine you get a little bit of an oppo going like that. Okay. And then sit down, same direction. Doesn't seem to, like, chuck itself at all. My goodness. Oh, my lord. Hold on to it. I haven't got a controller over them right now, but testing to see if the brakes actually do anything. I know every now and then with updates, the settings kind of reset themselves, but I felt like my brakes did nothing there going into that corner. So I'm going to play around with that a little bit more. I'm trying to, like, go really over the top on some of these jumps with the scrubs, just try and actually get the back end to step out, but it doesn't seem to want to. It's very, very rigid. And honestly, like, in terms of, again, personal opinion, when I play motocross games, I know that we play quote-unquote simulators, but I like being able to do stuff in games that I could never imagine doing IRL. I am a very stiff rider, IRL. I have no confidence in myself in the air to even be able to whip a bike. So being able to whip in-game is a really cool thing for me. And I'm aware I've done about 5 jumps in total so far, but I'm really, really jamming the sticks from side to side, trying to get the bike to step out. It just doesn't really seem to want to. So it's definitely, it just feels stiff. I don't know any other way of wording that. That's what I'm saying. Like, at the moment, the game feels like it's got all of these external forces acting on the bike, and I just kind of want to get a bit steezy, to be honest with you. I mean, standing up in the corner, oddly enough, seems to help you turn tighter than when you're sitting down, which is a very, very odd concept. I mean, yeah, but it's nothing. Again, I throw back to the video on this game that I had done with Rum, like, months and months and months ago. Everything felt a lot more loose. It felt a lot more free-flowy. Obviously, it didn't have all of these like graphical changes. Like, I much prefer the menu and, like, the HUD layout and everything now. But in terms of the actual, like, moment-to-moment gameplay, it just feels slow. You know, it does feel a bit sluggish. So I'm hoping that that will be kind of change a little bit in the future. But I suppose it depends what direction the community want it to go in, to be honest. Again, I'm just one man, and they do have a full development/testing team, and they give their feedback on each and every update. So if this is the direction that they want the game to go in, then by all means, who am I to try and stop them? But it's just not. It's not really for me. So when I do get a lot of people asking me to check out Trackdayr, I do from time to time, and it's just because it just feels a bit stiff, a bit sluggish. It's not a game that I see myself playing lots at all. Is the only issue at the moment. I just want to hop on and be able to flow and, like, turn easily, jump easily. Like, I'd understand it if it was like a skill thing to the point where, let's say I was trying to get steezy in the air but I was crashing all the time, then yeah, maybe I'd understand why. But I've crashed once, I think, in this video. It's very, very difficult to crash. It feels like it's holding my hand a little bit too much. So just make things a little bit looser, a little bit lighter would be nice. I mean, that was probably my biggest whip so far, but you saw how slowly, like, it steps out and then comes back again. But that's just my little input there, just my 2 cents. But what do you guys think of this update now? And, like, because this is what everyone is playing at the moment. This isn't, like, special release just for me. This is, like, full game that, oh, we have finally crashed. It doesn't seem to want to handle like rough whips too badly. But how do you guys feel about the game? Do you agree with me? Do you feel like it's a little bit on the stiff side, or you actually like the slower pace of game? I know everybody's different, of course. Everyone has their own interests and the way that they want games to play. But do let me know. I'm very intrigued to see everyone else's thoughts on this. But I think I am going to wrap it up there. So if you have enjoyed this video, as always, if I could just ask for a cheeky little like and subscribe to the channel if you're new, it'd be very much appreciated. And I hope you have a lovely rest of the day, whatever it is you're up to, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.